Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I'm Conrad. This is the 45. We've got our preview of the FA Cup. 5 things to talk about. 13-time Cup winners Arsenal, 8-time Cup winners Chelsea. Arsenal last winning in 2017 against Chelsea. Chelsea last winning in 2018, both coming off big upset victories, one over City, one over Man United. Notable outs, Leno, Chambers, Mustafi, Martinelli for Arsenal. Bellerin is a game-time decision. Loftus-Cheek and Gilmore out for Chelsea, but they're buoyed by the return of Conte and Willian. So 5 things. First topic, Arsenal playing a back 3 or a back 4.
And this decision it dedicates how they're going to play out the entire match. Are you going to play trying to keep it tight at the back, or are you going to try and maybe match Chelsea sword for sword and go at the game? I think in that instance, Chelsea a bit more favored, but we've seen in the past in those upset victories against Manchester City and Liverpool that Arsenal were playing a back 3, and that saw good performances from a lot of their individual players, and it really kind of elevated their defensive solidity, and they really were actually quite impressive in an area where they haven't been in a long time. The sacrifice is you don't create a lot of chances if you're not clinical like you were in the City game, or fortunate like you were in the Liverpool game where you saw mistakes from Alisson and Van Dijk. It'll be reliant on some really clinical ability up top.
Arteta and Lampard obviously fighting one another for their first trophy, both doing a very good job in their first terms. Obviously Arteta part of a season, Lampard first full season, young kids, both playing, got their teams playing at a high level.
Exactly. And I think that Lampard, the Champions League qualification is big for him. And to add a trophy on top of it would be a near perfect first season considering the circumstances that he came into it. No ability to make transfers in the first transfer window. And it would just be a great season for them. And for Arteta, likewise.
What a rebuild. Quick.
You rebuild, and you're able to get a trophy down. You're able to get some positivity going down. Financially, that would help you out. It would really kind of set the standard because we're going to talk about these two coaches for several years, assuming that they're there for a while. And this would be the first step in asserting kind of who's got the better chance of improving their side over the long term.
It's an interesting London derby for both of those guys in their first real test for a cup, for some silverware. And for Arsenal, this is their only pathway into Europe. Obviously, Chelsea have qualified. They're also still in the Champions League, down 3-0 to Bayern. Don't give them much of a fighting chance to win that, but they're already in. Yeah. Arsenal need this.
Yeah, much like last year, the Europa League final 2019, Chelsea won that one 4-1 when Chelsea needed to win that, or when Arsenal, needed to win that match in order to qualify for the Champions League. It's a similar situation here. Chelsea don't have qualification on the line. They just have silverware and the pride of beating your rivals. So Arsenal have just that added motivation and necessity to win this match in order to try and keep up with a Chelsea team who, in totality, are much further ahead along in their developmental process than Arsenal are. Interesting
storyline with Giroud recently moving from Arsenal to Chelsea, and conversely, Luiz moving from Chelsea to Arsenal. Giroud, very, very good in the return. Luiz, up and down. You don't know which one he's going to... To your point, he's playing well in a back 3, not so much in a back 4.
Yeah, and that was kind of typified in that Manchester City game. Earlier on, the first game in the restart, he was sent off, gave away a penalty in 27 minutes. It was a bad performance for him.
Train wreck.
But admittedly for him, he was asked to do a lot in a back 4. In a back 3, you give him less defensive responsibility individually, and he can really flourish and be a very positive leader, as well as playing out from the back for them in that area. So, again, if you play the back 3, maybe you get better David Luiz, but you get less offensive. Back 4, you risk maybe David Luiz has a bit of a bad match against his old side. But again, both these players will want to have good performances against their old sides.
Well, do you think Giroud starts over Abraham?
I think definitely. You got to both the experience and the form. When you have those two things over your competitor, it just makes sense.
So, obviously, Arsenal don't really have much of a selection dilemma here. Leno out, Martinez playing very, very well, but barring a late injury. But do Chelsea drop Kepa again?
Caballero has played every match in the FA Cup to this point, and he's just on better form than Kepa, who looks like he's kind of just lost right now. It seems like Chelsea are going to want to kind of push him out the door. And Caballero is obviously not the long-term replacement. But in this match, I think that Caballero is the more assured player for Lampard. And I think for Lampard, his focus in this match is going to be who's going to be able to try and keep the least amount of goals in the back of the net.
Yep.
And that's going to be Willy Caballero in this match.
And Caballero's got a little bit more confidence, and that's certainly where Lampard appears to have confidence right now. So Chelsea look to be pretty heavy favorites, 2-1, and both in betting odds as well as Soccer Power Index. I've got it as a draw. I think it's going to be a wide-open match. This could be low in terms of total goals scored, but I do have a draw, Chelsea going through on penalties.
see it kind of the opposite. I think that the only way Arsenal win this match is you're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with this Chelsea side. You're just not as good defensively. As poor as Chelsea are defensively, you're worse, and you're arguably not even as good attacking. So there's really no positive way that you could attack against them and come out in a positive way. So I think that in order for Arsenal to win, you got to lock it up in a back three and don't allow them any chances and be very clinical with yours. If they can do that, it's like Doctor Strange, the 1 in 14 million odds that it happens. Then that's how they're going to win. I think they will do it because I think they have just so much on the line that they're going to be able to pull it out. But again, it's a rivalry. It's a final. Who knows what could happen in the end.
Looking for a good match. For Jack Conrad, this has been the 45 FA Cup Preview Edition. Please like, subscribe, follow us on the Twitter at the 45. Take care now.